Are you guys okay if I take off my mask for our part? If you like me to keep it on, I'm okay with it too. Or I can hide my face. Fine. Okay.
And I think you guys are probably good. You can just
Yeah, I don't have to take it off because it's
Take it off, girl.
Yeah, if football people could do it a couple inches away,
Exactly.
it'd be okay.
All right. Well, good morning, guys. Thank you for coming to the first ever How Real Estate Presents the First Time Home Buyer Seminar Experience. Thank you for spending your whole Saturday with us. It's going to take a long time.
Or you're gonna learn lots.
Yeah. Information overload for demo administration. No, you're fine.
I'm gonna open it down before it's rude.
Okay, so a little bit about our team.
I'm trying. It's
No, it's the computer.
Yep.
I know. You might need to click, actually.
okay.
Jonathan Howe unfortunately couldn't be here today. He's off doing showings. He sends his regards and welcomes you in too. He is the president and CEO of our team. His wife, Yvette, is the director of operations. Right over here to my left is the lovely Megan, executive administrative assistant. Lisa Motes is our transaction coordinator. She handles everything behind the scenes as far as if you are in an escrow, she would send you all the documents that needed to be signed, and she makes sure that we are up to date on our deadlines, excuse me, and everything is going according to plan. Melissa and JC are both of our office brokers. Between the two of them, they have over 50 years of real estate experience. So you're in good hands. You know, we're not in state. And as you can see, myself, I'm the buyer specialist for this team. I like to work with especially first-time home buyers because it is a great experience and I want to see that smile on your face. A little bit about the team. We are trilingual. I am not. But we do speak Mandarin, Spanish, and English, which covers an extensive market and database. So you have a little bit more insight to exclusive listings and stuff like that. Jonathan is on the board of directors for this office for the Agent Leadership Council and a top individual agent here. On average, we find and submit an offer on a satisfactory property within the first 2 showings. Not to toot my own horn, but I usually do it in the first.
Toot toot.
But who's counting? I am. So that's it. No, I'm just kidding.
You may go home.
So everybody just take a deep breath. We're about to dive into the deep part of this whole process. That deep breath is really unique. So a lot of people think the map to home buying is finding an agent and already going to see houses. There's so many little steps in between to get you there. Okay. The real map to home buying is going to look a little bit more like this. It looks like a lot of steps. Don't let it overwhelm you. You have whomever you decide to hire should be walking you through these steps so you never feel uncomfortable and you feel safe and secure. Okay? So your first step is to select a real estate agent. And this happens a lot. So this is me when a buyer decides to use their uncles, neighbors, cousins, college roommates, sister-in-law who works part-time. It's crazy. But what do you need to know about hiring an agent? What are you looking for in an agent? So I just came up with a few key things that you should be looking for. A good communicator, someone who listens to you effectively and knows what you're looking for and understands your needs and your wants. Someone honest and realistic who's going to give it to you straightforward and not kind of beat around the bush and kind of just gamble you around, someone adaptable. The world of real estate is forever changing and not everyone is the same. So you need someone to cater to your needs and who can also please the seller that you are hoping to buy the house from. Someone outstanding, hardworking, someone who goes above and beyond for you, judicious, which practices good judgment, efficacious, which is someone who produces the desired result that you want. Okay, that's for you ultimately to get into your first home. Nurturing. I am a mother already of 3, so I feel like I'm very nurturing from the start. I can't get it out of me. And someone who also has a great network. So even after you're done closing on your home, you have someone, if you have a water leak or some kind of electrical issue, you have a resource to get you those resources that are vetted for and we've done business with and great reviews. And we wouldn't put our name on it if it wasn't worth it for you. Okay, and if you have a hard time remembering what to look for, I did create an acronym that makes it a little easier. And obviously, and I did look up. I had to make it work, but it does work. So let it work for you. So what happens when you do select an agent? You're going to create an agency. You're going to establish that relationship and discuss the terms of your contract with your agent, which is duties owed for both parties, which is basically stating that we have an obligation to you to be honest, to let you know anything, disclose any information that is apparent to your purchase, or and be confidential with anything that you share with us. So if you are uncomfortable with anything, you let us know so we can cater around your needs. Any transaction fees and disclosures. Now, a lot of people think, oh, I have to save money to also pay my buyer's agent. And it kind of turns people off. But 9 times out of 10, they get paid from the seller. Not sure if you knew that, but it comes from the seller portion. Occasionally, it'll come from the buyer, but we usually have this discussion with you before it gets to that. Okay? So you've selected your agent. One box done. It's only 3 minutes. So your next step is to obtain a pre-approval letter from the lender. Okay? Listen. I can't show you any houses until you speak to a mortgage lender. I'm not sure if you remember this, kid. Listen. No, not yet. Okay? And there's a reason to that. So with your pre-approval, you can determine which loan program fits best for your needs and which programs you qualify for. You'll need this to know exactly how much you're approved for, because the last thing we want to do is set you up on a search and you look at these gorgeous $1 million homes and the budget is only at $500,000. You know, we're setting you up for, you'll get there eventually, but for your first home, we like to keep it comfortable within your budget. Your monthly payment will be set. This allows you to budget your money before making such a large investment. It shows you the approximate cost of your down payment and your closing costs, which are 2 different things, and we'll touch base on that a little later. It improves your negotiating position with the seller, and it saves time once you've selected a home because the process has already started. You're not going back to square one when you're already at step. So your lender is on your side. They want to know everything about you to present you in the best way to the seller or to the underwriter to approve your loan. Okay. There are down payment assistance programs available. Now this is a rabbit hole in itself, and I am not a lender, but fortunately we do have a lender here as well. Good morning. This is Sonia from All Western Mortgage. She's here to answer any questions at the end if we have any regarding any programs. During, if you feel compelled to. But grant programs are available, so you just speak with your lender to make sure you know what options you have. Okay. And that was just fine. So you obtain your pre-approval from your lender. Okay. The next is to analyze your needs in a buyer consultation. So this is where you sit down with your agent and you discuss what area you want to live in, whether it's Centennial, Henderson, Summerlin, North Las Vegas downtown, anywhere and everywhere in the Las Vegas Valley, even from if you're compelled to move that way. Sorry, I'm blocking you. And this is where you would differentiate your needs and your wants. So you need to have at least 3 bedrooms. You want a pool, but is it necessary? You know, but you go over all of your options that you are looking for, all while staying within your budget. So while you're at your consultation, we set you up on an MLS search where you receive listings, and you can, we even kind of go into our off-market opportunities. As we said earlier, Trilingual, we do have the means to speak with others about maybe if they want to sell their house that's not on market. So you then favorite your potential properties, and once you have at least 5, we'll start scheduling them for you. When you're ready to start viewing your properties, I typically like to do 2 hours up to 5 homes. This is just because I don't want you to have home overload. I don't want you to puzzle piece different houses and think, which one was the one with that kitchen or the big backyard, and then you're getting all jumbled. Now, if you do have more than 5, I personally am happy to set you up on another showing, however many that you have, but it's very doable. So say while you're out on your showing, you do find the home that you have submitted an offer for. What are you gonna need? Okay? View your properties, you're ready to write an offer. You'll need these 3 things. Earnest money deposit. Does anyone know? Does everyone know? Okay. Earnest money deposit is usually a show of good faith that you are serious about purchasing this home. Okay. Typically about 1% of the list price. So for example, a $300,000 home, you're looking at about a $3,000 earnest money deposit. Okay. It goes in with your offer. And it's held in escrow, so the seller doesn't get it. It's already just held it's just held safely for you. You're going to need your preliminary loan approval, which is a pre-approval letter from your lender, and a satisfactory property. Okay. So then you would negotiate the terms with your offer. Okay. This is where you and your agent have to have an understanding of what matters most to you in this transaction, because your agent is going to protect your best interests. If they know you're uncomfortable with spending over that limit, it's our job to make sure that we listen and do what you would like to do. So we make the deal work, win-win or no deal. So sometimes you also have to be prepared to walk away if necessary, okay? So you've done all that, you've negotiated the terms, and you've had your contract accepted. Now a whole new world of stress begins. After it is accepted, you enter into what is called escrow. Okay, just think of it as a giant checklist of things that need to be done before you can actually close on the home. Okay, escrow is a third party. Think of it as a referee in a game. So they make sure that both sides of the transaction are doing what they say, are following the terms that they set in any contract and that you've signed signatures for. Okay? It can't be complete until all the terms have been satisfied and all parties have signed the escrow documents. So what do you need to provide? You're going to need to prove that you are you. So you're going to need an ID or a passport or something that shows your social security, or just as many people have the same name, just to make sure that you are you. And how long is escrow? Usually between 30 to 45 days. We have been in transactions where we close in 26, so that's pretty quick if you're in the market to move rather quickly. And sometimes there may be delays, okay, but we like to prepare you for that in any case as well, okay? So when you enter escrow, you have a due diligence period. This is where you would do your part to get your inspections done, to ensure that the house is up to par and you know everything that's going on behind the scenes with it, if there's any issues. And this is your time when you would sleep on it. Okay, so you submit an offer and you just make sure that you have your 10 days to really think, is this really the home for me? Or if you wake up within that and you're like, okay, it's not it, you're able to cancel your contract, purchase agreement, and still get your earnest money deposit back. Okay, so it's a big chunk of change, you know? So this is when, as I said, you'll do your inspections. Okay, you'll hire a licensed inspector professional to inspect the home. This is where they will go over any structural, mechanical, electrical, and systems of the home. So they'll make sure the AC is working, the heater works. Your drawers have bottoms, like everything from top to bottom of the home. Any roof inspections, they don't fix it for you, but they compile a report for you, sometimes 100 pages long. But it's just with information showing you what's good with this home, what needs to be looked at. Now, and if that were the case, you would then sit with your agent. I'll sit with you, okay? And we'll go over that report. And we'll look for big ticket items that you may be interested in asking the seller to repair, whether it's the AC, or we don't look for like missing electrical plate covers. Like things like that, you can kind of like skip over, but the big ticket items are the ones that you're going to need to look for, okay? And other types of inspections include termite and pest, which is typically required for VA loans. And then other common ones are well and septic or mold. So if you're purchasing an older type home that still is in the system, you kind of want that checked out as well. Okay. Now you do have the option as well to get a home warranty. So in your residential purchase agreement, your contract, your offer to the seller, there is a section that says that you will acquire or waive a home warranty. And you can even say if you want to pay for it as a buyer or present it to where the seller will pay for it for your first year. Now this covers anything from your electrical system, ceiling fans, AC, heating, water heater, plumbing system, telephone wiring, if you still have a house that has that, your microwave, your built-in microwave, excuse me, any of the big items, any major mechanical systems, you should pay your deductible $75 or $100, and then the home warranty will take care of the rest. Now it's important that you know what your policy is, because just like any warranty, they're going to fight you. They're going to say, oh, you're not covered for that. But you know you're covered for it, so take care of it. Okay? So you've conducted your inspections, and now you're moving on to this big chunk of it. You're going to resolve any issues, obtain mortgage financing, credit underwriting, appraisal, survey, insurance check. It sounds like a mouthful. And conduct a title search, which would then remove any of the encumbrances on the home. So let's get into that. You have safety nets in place. So your first safety net was your due diligence period, okay, for your earnest money deposit, your first 10 days. Okay. There's two other contingencies in place that will protect you. Okay. In real estate, it's a condition or action that must be met before the contract can become binding. So you need to have an appraisal done. Okay, so it's usually, appraisal contingency is usually 14 to 21 days, depending on the term of your loan. And an appraisal is an estimated market value of the property done by a licensed appraiser. A seller can't. A seller lists the price of the home, correct? Because that's what they say it's worth. But an appraisal will go ahead and either verify that and correct it. Okay. So the bank sends one out, so they make sure that the house that the house is worth what you are offering, because the bank will only loan you what it is worth. So a house is listed at $300,000, and you pre-approve to that. The appraiser comes and says it's worth $250. Okay. Now, what's going to happen next is one of two things. The seller will either come down in price, okay, or you're gonna have to come up. Okay, so because the bank will only loan you what it is worth. Now, the third option is if neither one of you are giving up what you think, you can walk away. This protects your money deposit, it will come back to you, okay? It is an out-of-pocket expense to you as the buyer, but it is a second protection for you in the process. How much is an appraisal usually?
475. 475.
Your second, or your third rather, contingency to protect you is the loan contingency, which is 25 to 35 days. This is just saying that you can secure the financing that you need. So during this part isn't when you want to build up any extra debt. Okay, you don't want to go buy a car or already start looking for the furniture for your new home and racking up that debt. I mean, you can pay cash for it if you want to, but don't build any other debt so that the bank doesn't look at you and say, I can't lend you this money. Okay? So the loan process. This is a map. It is also in your buyer handbooks as well, just for you to reference again later if needed. I am not licensed, I am not certified to speak with you on this. So I actually have somebody here to kind of go over it a little bit more in depth with you, so you kind of know what you're looking at and the process of it.
Hello again. Oh, thank you. Need a coffee. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Sonia. I'm with All Western Mortgage. I've been in the business for a little bit over 16 years now. I do it full time, just like your slide. I do mortgages full time. So I'm always available if you need to talk to me right away. If you're out looking at properties with Jen or Jonathan, you can just shoot me a text or give me a call if you have concerns, on the spot while you're viewing a property. So Jen here put a little map, and let's kind of go over that. Does anybody know what a pre-approval is? Pre-approval.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I
if
think
you look at the back of the
something-
card, if you look at the back of the card, I like to have that checklist just so you're prepared when you come to see a lender. Okay, so that's the documentation that we ask for, just to make sure that you meet all the requirements. I might walk your map a little bit. Is that okay? Yeah, okay. So does anybody have any questions in regards to the documentation? No? Looks good so far? Okay, so when you come see me or another lender, hopefully you'll come see me, we'll talk about your options, your budget. We'll do a credit check. So there's different programs. I think you grabbed the flyer in regards to the grants. So as a lender, we're gonna tell you this is the programs that you qualify based on your credit score, your budget, and your income. If you were looking for some type of grant, a down payment assistance, they have their own guidelines. So we want to make sure that you also meet their requirements as well. Okay, so that will be the pre-approval process. Then we start gathering your documentation. We usually ask for your bank statements. We'll talk about a little bit in regards to deposits. We always want to source any large deposits. So if you have direct deposit, we can clearly see that, right? That it's from your payroll. But if there's a lot of cash deposits, so we're gonna go over that. We're gonna sit down and say, hey, where did this $3,000 come from? We need to paper trail the deposit, okay? Usually a letter of explanation. If mom and dad or a relative gives you, a gift, then, we'll guide you through what the next process will be. Usually, a gift letter is executed, and then the donor, which is your family member, would have to give us a bank statement so that we can source that's where the money came from. So have a talk with your relatives if that's what you're planning on doing. Maybe executing a gift. Then make sure that they're willing to give you the bank statement. Okay. So that will be the supporting documentation. Any questions in regards to that? In regards to the documents?
Is there in regards to the gift,
Mhm.
is there like a minimum and like a amount, like, okay, like you just said, $3,000 would be something that you would have to account for, or?
So as a first-time home buyer, your minimum requirement, if you're doing an FHA loan, will be 3.5%.
Okay.
So if a relative wants to give you the full amount, like you.
Awesome.
Yeah, good question. So now it's a loan submission. We don't submit the file until you already have a property hit. So that means once your contract has been accepted, Jennifer, Jonathan's team will send us the offer, and then that's when we start, on the clock, the contingency that she was talking about earlier. We need to get your home inspection, we need to get your appraisal, because we're both kind of work as a team to protect your earnest money deposit. Okay, so from the moment we get that purchase contract, you're on the clock. Hey, we need to, schedule your inspection. Everything looks good in the inspection, nothing major. Then we go on and get the appraisal. So usually you'll get a link if you're using All Western. You get an email saying, hey, we're ready to order your appraisal. Here's the link for payment. So you pay that directly, and it's about $475. Okay, so that's your loan submission. So let's say I meet with you today. Okay, so I'm going to gather pay stubs for the last 30 days, bank statements for the last 60 days. Okay, but then you don't find a house until 30 to 60 days later. So all your documentation by now has expired. So I have clients like, I already gave you that. I already gave you. Yes, you did. And we have them, but they have expired. So pay stub, we have to keep renewing it, and you just kind of keep your file up to date. Okay, so we don't lose documents. It's just we have to keep updating. And if you have questions along the way, let me know. Why are you asking for this? Why, so we'll take a look at kind of like your pattern. So when you come in, we kind of sit down, one-on-one, and then we'll see, oh, I see a lot of large deposits. Can you tell me what that is? Right now, lots of people are doing supplemental income, eBay, all that good stuff. So I like to try to get that front. Hey, I'm selling on the side. And again, just a letter of explanation we'll do. And again, we'll guide you through it. Okay, so that will be your loan submission. So your file, your package has been submitted. Now an underwriter is reviewing everything we submitted. I've been doing this for a long time, so I like to get things up front, letters of explanation. I can't speak for other lenders, but for us, we like to have everything up front. So when you have an approval, it's a piece of cake. It's easy. We just have 3 conditions. One, the earnest money deposit clear, a letter of explanation that this particular borrower lives at home rent-free, and I can't even remember the other one. 3 conditions from the underwriter. That's what you want, because we already took care of everything up front. Okay, and that takes away the anxiety of, oh my gosh, am I going to get rejected? Am I going to, so it's a good thing. So once we have the approval, now we let the team, child team know that, hey, we're ready to draw your documents. So by then you will, we'll talk about locking your interest rate, and then we're in position to close. That's when we get clear to close. Hey, your loan is clear to close. So you guys will schedule what, the final walkthrough, before or after? Okay, so the final walkthrough will be scheduled. That means that you're gonna review your home before you take possession and make sure that it is what you looked 30 or 45 days before, to make sure that it's still standing, that the AC unit is still there. That has happened before, okay? Where the AC unit is gone, it just disappeared. So then we'll go to the closing table. So we would go to a title company where you deposit that earnest money deposit, and you'll be signing your closing documents. 99% of the times I'm there with you, because if you have any questions in regards to the closing documents, who better than the lender? So that's something I personally like to do, just to support. The escrow company does a really good job explaining everything, but I'm there to support you guys. And again, if there's any questions, any discrepancies, I'm there, because I'm the one who did, packaged the loan and been talking to you guys for the last 30 to 45 days, So funding. Can you see the map? So the funding is, that's when you wire, this is after your closing. You were wired the remainder of your down payment and your closing costs. Okay, so you will wire that to the same title company, and us, the lender, will wire the amount you're financing, basically your loan. So that's what funding is. Review everything within 24 hours. Now we have recording. That's when the title company will record, make sure that everything's clear and you're actually becoming the legal homeowner, the owner of the property. They record it with the county, you're the new buyers, home ownership, and you're the new owner of record, basically. That's what that is, and that's within 24 hours. Okay, sounds good. Any questions? No? No questions? Yes.
Credit, what number? I know you guys got something, what?
We have something, absolutely. That's a good question. So, first-time home buyers, have you heard of FHA loan?
Yeah.
That's a government loan, and it's really, I bought my house over 20 years ago, FHA, because they're very flexible with credit. So you don't have to have a huge FICO score. So to answer your question, 640 will be the magic number.
Okay.
640. For FHA, 3.5 down. Closing costs, you would need closing, I think that's over here, we'll cover that. But basically, a grant will kind of help you meet. So the grant's not going to give you everything you need. It's not going to give you all the down payment and all the closing costs. It will be an assistance to help you get to that, to that goal. So it will be, it's kind of usually about half of the money that you need. So 640 FICO score. If you're not there yet, let's say I pull your credit and you have a 620, through our company, we have a system and a software where it says, okay, if the borrower does this, pay this off, open a new credit card, stimulators to get you where we need to be, okay? Yeah, that's really good. So right now, most people already know what their credit is,
Right.
Because of Credit Karma and all that. They're like, oh, I have a 670. When we do a credit check, a mortgage rating is different than what you're seeing on Credit Karma and True FICO. I think True FICO is the other one. So I try to tell people in advance, like, don't be disappointed if I pull a lower score than what you think you have, because it's coming from the lender, a mortgage rating, So right now, 640 is what you need. And we don't charge for credit reports up front. So if you like to do a credit check, once we pull credit, it's valid for 120 days. Again, because I've been in the business for so long, I don't like to pull it if there's no need to pull it, So if you're out shopping, you're still interested, we're just gonna let that be. And if it expires, we'll pull it when you already found the property to make sure we're not hurting your credit, with an additional inquiry. Now that we're talking about inquiries, I feel like I didn't go enough on the other one, so is that okay?
No, you're fine.
Am I good on time?
Yeah.
Okay, inquiries. So when you come in and meet with me, I will ask you, has anybody pulled your credit recently? Because again, if we're trying to get to a goal, right, of the 640, you say, yeah, I just bought a car last month. We all know that when you buy a vehicle, they run your credit more than once. So I like to ask, hey, do you remember the date? And then we kind of wait 90 days from that date before we can pull credit to make sure those inquiries have dropped. Okay, so communication, guys. I'm on your side. Tell me the truth, because I'm gonna find out anyways. I always tell my clients, I know everything. One of the questions, one of the points you brought up earlier. Don't charge off your cards. While looking for a home, if anything, start paying down your debts, because now you're going to be homeowner. You're going to have additional bills than when you rent. Okay, so start paying down your, don't open any new credit cards. I just had a teacher, so what we do right before closing, right before that funding, we'll do a soft check. Okay, what does that mean? A soft check to make sure that everything's exactly how it was when we first pre-approved you. Okay, so if there's a vehicle for $600, that could really hurt your credit score. So you lenders should be talking about all this. Like, don't charge off any credit cards. Wait, please. I know you get excited when you have a home and I want to go appliance and no shopping until we record. Until you hear that word recording, it's official. Then you could go ahead and shop. Okay, so moving on, closing costs. So we know for first-time home buyer, you need 3.5% of the sales price, right? Closing costs, it's an average between 2 to 2.5%. Okay, so you will need a total, 5 to 5.5% of the sales price. What is closing costs? So closing costs is credit report fee. Remember, we don't charge it up front, but you will have the fee at closing. Document preparation, which is, that's from the title company, give them enough time to prepare the documents. Escrow fee is typically, like it says, 50-50 with the seller. So when you're negotiating the contract with Jen and Jonathan, they will already ask for this to make sure that it's being covered 50-50. The charge is not all on our buyer's side. Lender's title policy, the escrow company, you don't just deposit your earnest money, they're also checking the property on the home, make sure that there's no liens. So when you take possession, it's a free and clear home. The only lien you will have is ours, which is the lender, what you're financing. Liens could be, the trash, the homeowners association. So we want to make sure that when you take possession, you're the homeowner, you have 0 liens, okay? Miscellaneous charges, that will take, let's say we're ready to close and unfortunately you have to leave town. So now we have to send a notary to, California, New York, wherever you went. So now there's a charge for that. So that's what the miscellaneous title charges will be, because we didn't, at the time we thought you were gonna, best case scenario, you're gonna sign here locally, but things always happen, especially right now with, everything going on. PMI, have you heard that word before? Okay, what do you know about it? You just heard, right? PMI, yeah. Yeah, I have a client like, do I have PMI? So it's private mortgage insurance. So everybody that's purchasing a home that does not have 20% down will be required to have PMI, private mortgage insurance. And what that is an insurance that you pay that is protecting the lender, because you're only coming in with a minimum down, okay? And for FHA, it's there for the life of the loan, okay? So that's kind of when we talk on the one-on-one, we'll go over that. Hey, you guys are good for FHA loan and also conventional, and then we'll compare, okay? So FHA, the PMI is for 30 years. When a conventional loan, it's only for 5. So it's either or, you either wait 5 years or when you have built enough equity. I want to get closer to you guys, and then I remember that I got that. When you have 20% equity, you could petition the lender, say, hey, I have enough equity now, can you please remove the PMI? Okay, they're not going to do it out of the goodness of their heart because they're receiving that monthly payment. You have to stay on top of it. And I have clients that always tell me, hey, can you check, is my house worth enough? Can I remove the, mortgage insurance? And that will, drastically make a difference on your monthly payment. Taxes and insurance. So usually I like to say, hey, who do you have for your vehicle? Okay, who's your insurance agent? Because now we all heard of bundles. So that's my first step. Who's your agent? I give them a call. Hey, our mutual client is purchasing a home. What quote can you, offer? And that will be included on your monthly payment as well. Okay, and then taxes on the property. As soon as we get a contract, we go into the county and verify what your monthly property taxes are for that property. So when you come and see me, you'll have a better idea what your monthly payment looks like, because now you have a subject property. This is the taxes, this is your insurance quote from your agent, this is the total monthly payment. Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? I feel like I was kind of going fast. It's the coffee kicking in. I had one this big when I came in. Yes?
Yes. Question. If you have a rental property under your name, are you still eligible for an FHA since you don't live?
Okay. Do you, if Okay, do you report that property as an investment?
Yes.
Yes, then you can. So FHA is for primary residence. Yes, so that's what they're giving you a break on down payment. So if you tell me I wanna buy another investment, now I said, okay, you need 20% down. But since this is gonna become your primary residence, then yes, you can do FHA. Okay, some people say, can I have 2 FHA loans? Quick answer is yes, but there's certain guidelines that you have to meet to have. So for example, if you have an FHA loan in Arizona, and obviously you moved, you're here now, change of circumstances, yes, you can have another FHA loan. Good question.
And what would you say is the most common roadblock that there's in regards to the loan process?
Credit, usually credit, but we try, again, it's very flexible and we try to find other ways, so, I'll tell you my secrets. You know, there's really a lot of stuff that you learn by knowledge and by, years of experience that you could do, and it's like magic, so there's a lot of things that we do with credit. If somebody's had a bankruptcy in the past, so again, if you look at the card, I'm asking for documentation. I like to have that up front. If you file bankruptcy, you might have started the process a year and a half ago, but it actually didn't go through and didn't get discharged until a year later. That means now you have to wait, So the requirement for first-time buyer is three years after the discharge date.
And for someone like me who, I don't necessarily have bad credit, I just don't have any credit. I just never, like a dummy.
Always
Never-
cash.
Yeah,
I
I
have
never
a lot of
really
that.
dealt with credit cards and stuff, so
Okay.
and I know the advice is you don't want to get a credit card. So what would be,
Okay, so credit cards, have you had anything else, like maybe, furniture, from a direct furniture company? Nothing.
nothing that was reported to my credit agency.
Okay, so everything's privately owned.
Yeah, like I
Okay.
bought it from like little mom and pop shops and be like, okay, well, bring in a payment every month and we're good.
Okay. Yeah, so in that case, I would suggest do start opening a credit card. Obviously, now you're gonna need the time, the history. Okay, so one of the secrets, okay, that you could do is are you two married?
We will be.
Okay, awesome, congratulations. So I would say, does he have credit? Does he have credit
We're
card?
on the same boat. We're the blind. lead the
You're,
blind.
oh, okay. So in an instant, it will be, can you have him add you as a joint on the credit card?
Yeah, I think you have one.
I have established credit. I haven't looked at it in a while just because I don't like to.
You don't have to, yes, why, yeah.
But I get updates saying, oh, you got new credit.
Credit improved, your balance, I love
Yeah.
those. Yeah, I have it through experience too, because also I like to be informed what's going on with my credit profile, so that's great. So let's say you have Chase, I would have you call Chase, add you as a joint, or even an authorized user. So if you already have 2 years of history in Chase, guess what? Now you're gonna. Okay. But start building your own. You might have to do a secure credit card. Does anybody know what that is?
Yeah, it's where you put like a $200.
It's your own money.
Yeah.
So it's your own money. You're telling the bank, can you give me a credit card? Here's $300 because again, you don't have the history on the credit. So you give them $300 your own money, start saving it. I don't know, it used to be like 6 months, within 6 months to a year, they give you that money back and now it's really a credit card because you already got your money back. They trust you now, Rental history. Do you have rental history?
Yes.
So that's a compensating factor. So if she does not have any credit card, but you've been renting for the last 2 to 3 years, that's an excellent trade line.
Okay.
Yes, so that will help you. Yes.
Kind of bouncing on top of
No, I love it.
Uh,
Plus, it just cranked up the AC.
So, I know that, like, between us, my credit is pretty decent, but I feel like hers can use some
Improve.
work. It's not that it's bad or anything like that, but I feel like if we were to boost it, it would really help out long term. So is that a service that is beneficial for us? Like, if I was to say, hey, are you able to assess your credit and see what if it needs stimulating in certain ways? Is that something that you off?
Absolutely, yes, absolutely. What I would like to do is, because obviously you're buying together, is pull it jointly and then focus on yours, but you know, if together your debts are more, then, you know, we can kind of work on that as well, so, yeah. So for married couples, we run one credit report jointly, and for not married couples, we'll run two separate ones. Okay? All right, well, thank you so much.
All right, now it's time for the boring season.
No, you did so good. All those memes are funny.
All right, so you've checked off, you're already halfway there, past halfway there, okay? And Tonya actually touched base on a lot of these, so we're actually gonna go through this pretty quickly anyway. Let's just go to the end.
No, but the questions are awesome, though. Keep it up.
Okay, so she already, what does the title company do? Okay, you're gonna receive a title report, which is basically the company is combing through the history of the home, just to make sure everything is clean. As she had stated, there's no liens, there's nothing that you would own, because once you are the new owner, recorded owner of that home, that becomes your responsibility, okay? But they will also give you a title policy, so they insure it. So if down the line something does come up and it says, oh, you owe this, the title company already ran through it, it's clean, they're now responsible for it, okay? Taxes and insurance, it's prorated, so when you officially take ownership of the home, you sign the documents. You sound like a broken record, repeating her. You sign your documents at their office, at their location. They would send your documents to the county assessor, which gives public notice that you are officially the new homeowner of that property. And they also disperse the money to parties involved. Okay? So you check out three. Talk to less than a minute. So next is to obtain the funds for your closing. So at your signing appointment, you bring your cashier's checks, it's a little dated. They give you wiring instructions. So this is where you take your wiring instruction to your bank, saying, let them know, I'm buying this home, please transfer this amount to this account, okay? You're gonna need to verify your information, your identification again, just to make sure you are you. You fulfilled all of your lender's requirements. There's gonna be a lot of things that you're gonna need to submit. Sonia, if you use Sonia. She's pretty on top of it, and she'll let you know that everything's already completed by that time. And if there's anything outstanding, you guys will work together for it. The fire and hazard insurance, which is your home insurance, whether it's through State Farm, as she said, bundled, or whatever rate that you can find, she can help you find best. And how you want to take title to the home. Now, Nevada is a common interest state, so if you are married and the title is only under the husband's name, the wife is still already entitled to half. Okay. And after the closing, after you're done signing at the appointment, a lot of people think, yay, I can move in. That's not how it works here. You have to wait for, as she said, recording. That is like music to your ears, okay? After you've recorded is when your agent will meet with you at the home or wherever you're at. If you're at dinner, we'll meet with you there if you're that excited. And we'll hand you the keys to your new home. Okay, you'll take possession. You'll receive your deed, whether it's in the closing package that you receive at your signing, which is basically all the items that you signed and your copy of it, or it'll be mailed to you at a later date specified by the company. Okay. So you only have one thing left. You would then take possession of your home. Fireworks. Any further questions?
Yeah, question, so how has, the pandemic affected, let's say, escrow? Do you feel like it's extended the amount of time the escrow process, or is it causing strain in any of that?
I mean, what have you seen since you've been dealing with a lot of?
Very good question. The only thing that we've been having nightmares, and that's when we become a team as well. is trying to get verification of employment. A lot of the HR companies have closed, they're working remotely, so they will give me a call 24, 36 hours later. So I will be like, hey, can you grab, a direct HR manager's phone number, or an email, because that's, it's a nightmare. I mean, we have, besides me, you'll have my assistant, you have a processor, you have an underwriter, and sometimes it takes all of us to get one verification of employment. It's a nightmare, that, to say the least. I think that's about the only thing. Other than that, the business is still booming. There's a lot of people still moving from, we're still affordable compared to other places in the nation. So that, to me personally, that's it. Number one, BOE.
In regards to the inspections, does that include, I know you said not to get like electrical office. Does it, okay, but it will include like the larger electrical and the larger like
Yes.
plumbing, foundational structure.
So we'll make sure the water's working. Some even have systems where they'll have like guns and they record the temperature that's coming out, things like that. They'll test electrical sockets to make sure it's, the electricity is running through, and things like that.
But look at it, it's kind of like a checklist. Once you moved in, if a handle's loose, you already know that eventually it's not gonna be a surprise, oh, the door handle just busted. You already knew that it was, it's just a checklist that you could do on your day off and kind of start, that's what my husband did. I printed a report, and he's like, oh, I'm gonna fix that, it's, that's what it is, it's a checklist. But the main things, yes, that will be addressed.
There is a question on the Zoom. Someone would like to know what the market is like today.
All right, Jen, that's all you have.
I'm so glad you asked, because I do have a comparison from 2019 to 2020, and since we are in the beginning of the year, it overlaps, right? So a year ago today, we were looking at about 5,000 to 5,500 homes. Fast forwarding today, we're pretty low at 3,200 or so. So there's been a 39% decrease in the market. So when you're shopping for your house, this is when you want to put your best foot forward. You want to put yourself in the best light. It's not the type of the market where you want to offer under market value or say, oh, I want this seller to pay my closing costs. It's not really where you want to be right now. But as your agents, we will guide you through it. So when you are ready to write an offer, we also go over the comparables that have sold recently that matched your home in the particular vicinity nearby. So is a house like this what is a house like this going to be appraised for? And that's kind of what we like to shoot for. Okay. There may be some instances where some people will pay over market value. So think of it in terms of how this pandemic was. So when we first started, and everyone was looking for toilet paper or Lysol wipes, it was really hard to find. And when you did find it, people were fighting over it. People were willing to pay $5 over that or way over market value, right? So it's kind of the same thing that we're looking for in terms of the real estate. Now, but don't let that intimidate you, because it's your affordability, the interest rate being so great at what it is right now, 2 to 3%, something around that. It's at a historic low. So it's actually driving buyers who are able to buy, okay? Let's see, list price to sales price ratio right here. We're at 99.5%. So what that means is if a house is listed at $100, it most likely will sell for $99. So you have an idea of how close you're going to be towards list price when you write your offer. Okay.
How fast are they selling? Like how many days are on the market?
Average is 34, but median, there's a lot of them for 16 days.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're moving pretty fast, okay? So right here is a traditional seasonal curve, like an average year. So let's say maybe 2019.
during the holiday season, it's usually slow, and then it usually picks up around the summer when kids are out of school, and people have a lot of free time, and they just wanna, move already. Last year was pretty different, even up till today. So we're actually added a COVID group. So when the pandemic started, people were kind of waiting a little bit longer just to see if there's any changes in the market, or if they were worried of any like crashes or anything like that. But the government dropped the interest rate. The market wasn't affected that much. So we started peaking around September, October, and it still hasn't really slowed down, even being a holiday season. There's still a lot. I mean, 16 days on the market is pretty fast, you know, so it's moving. Okay. So you hear a lot of people say, is it a buyer or seller's market? Now, for a balanced market for Las Vegas, you're usually looking at about 4.5 months of inventory. Okay. We have been at 5.2 weeks, which is a little bit over a month and a half in inventory. Okay, so that's how fast our inventory is flying off the shelves. Okay, so that does lean us more towards a seller's market. The most extreme one was back in 2006 with 5 to 7 days, which basically means that if you were out to buy a home and there were no more homes listed, no more new homes added listings, in 5 to 7 days, it would be sold out. Okay. The most extreme buyer's market was around 2009-ish, 2008, 2009, with 2 years of inventory on the market. This is when you were able to ask, okay, I offered below market value, and I got the seller to pay for my closing costs, and that's when we really call the shots. Now, since we are more towards this side, as I've said, with rates being at a historic low, people are still buying, okay? And it's because of a few things. Number one being demand. So we're in quarantine and you realize the kids are at home, you have to work from home, and you realize I need that space. I need a room for myself that 3 kids can't bother me, and I can breathe, and I don't want to, you know?
You're not projecting.
I'm not projecting at all. This is just something that I like to, it's not me, just an example. Okay. People are realizing the value of space, so if they're able to, they're buying up, okay? And the second being opportunity. So affordability has never been better. To borrow money from the bank right now, historic low. So if you 2 years ago, if you were comfortable at a $1,500 rate, okay, monthly payment, at a 4% rate, you're looking at maybe a $280,000 home, okay? Fast forwarding to today, with the same $1,500 at a 2%, you're looking at maybe about a $350 home. You see how it's the same payment, but with the rate being different, your affordability is much greater. Okay, so people are buying up.
So, I mean, we just have the holidays, but do you forecast like more products being on the market in summer? Like, do you see the new builders ranking up in new homes, and then that'll kind of change the market?
Great question. It is possible because the summer is usually when it does peak. And the thing with new builds in particular, as of right now, there is a lumber shortage, so you have to take into consideration that. So building times, when they say, oh, it'll take 4 to 5 months, you're realistically looking at maybe 7 to 8 or something a little bit longer. So, and then in that case, that's a whole different bubble as well if you decide to go through the new build process. Yeah.
I was just asking, you were talking about rate, interest rate.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Sorry.
No.
Interest rate.
Okay.
All right, so we have a quiz. Turn your papers around.
I was so ready. I was like,
I'll be looking at your notes.
Are there any questions over Zoom? I see you.
Let's see.
Are you guys okay? You doing all right?
Oh, what's happening?
Oh, Jen, you're doing so good.
What is this?
Quiet, guys. What is that?
Oh, was that you?
No.
Oh, it wasn't me.
So rent versus buying. How many people are renting right now? I'm in that process. So this is just a comparison for Las Vegas for a home price at $250 with the 3.5% down, FHA, an auto-populated interest rate, comfortable monthly rent of $1,500. Okay. So if you stay in the same house for 3 years, you've already broken even if you were going to buy. So if that's the case, buying is cheaper than renting. Okay. So you're looking at, do you want to pay the landlord, or do you want to pay into your home value, into your equity? Okay, because it makes a big difference.
You're building wealth.
Correct.
And the rate, obviously that's an example, the rate is way lower than that right now. When we talk about payments, since we have time, when we talk about mortgage payments, you also want to consider HOA. If you have a certain area that you love and you have to live in that area, most likely you're going to have an HOA fee. So I'll talk to Jen or the lender, myself, what that looks like, because if it's, I've seen HOAs where they're super high, $200 to $300 a month. A lot of my clients call and say, we want to buy a cheap condo. So a cheap condo of like 150, 160 with the 350,000 HOA, you might as well be buying a home for 300,000 because the HOA is gonna make a huge difference on your payment or monthly payment.
We also have a question on the Zoom. Are there adjustable interest rates or any ways for the cost to change once the housing purchase is finalized?
For first-time home buyers, it protects you where you get a fixed rate for 30 years. So it's a fixed rate. It's a fixed rate for 30 years.
Cool.
Thank you, Zach.
Thank you guys again for joining. We are sticking around after. If you have any questions, if you want to speak privately on anything, or schedule an appointment.
Yeah, we're here. This group is great.
Thank you to everyone on Zoom for attending as well. You have my number on the flyer, so just give me a call. We're not on Zoom anymore, are we?
Yes.
Someone said they're taking a shot with you.
Did they say? I think they just said thanks. Okay, I'll stop sharing now. Bye, guys.